Well, I'm excited to talk to you about just your journey, what's been going on. I like to structure this call just in three phases, just kind of like where you were at when you first came into the program, where you're at now, and then the things you did along the way. And the reason why I do this, other than selfishly hearing all your successes and me loving to hear that, is I like to learn. I as long as I've been doing this, I still learn from guys every day in the program from their experience, and so I'm here to also learn from you. So yeah, let's jump in. What was going on initially that allowed you to trust a random stranger on the internet to save your marriage?
Hmm. Um, well, I Tammy and I have been married a year and a half. I lost my wife 3.5 years ago, and we were married 33 years, um, with a good marriage. And so Tammy and I met, and then we got married a year and a half ago, and it was going great. And then for the last few months, I noticed she just seemed to be like a wall was up. I noticed, and then 3 months ago, I found a journal that she wrote, and she wrote like a bunch of really kind of horrible things about me and my character, and 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 it really, I thought it was over, you know, and then we talked about. She said, "No, that's just the way I process. I've been doing it since I was 18." She has serious, eating disorder, and she was taught to do that. And she goes, "I can show you my other journals written about other things and other people." And she said, "I just kind of exaggerate and actually make stuff up. Most of it's not true, but I just get angry and I have to vent, right? And then I let it go and I forgive and I give it to God and it's over, right?" So that's her process. And I didn't realize that, but it took me, I had a really hard time trusting that that's was true at the beginning. So I started snooping, right? And started going through her phone and and going through other journals, and she caught me a few times, and then she felt violated, and finally she said, "I'm done." She goes, "We're in a toxic relationship, I'm done." And she told me that I never forget, I came home for lunch and she said, "I found a place to live. I want a divorce. I'm gonna move out soon." Because it's finished, right? And I was listening to some of your videos online before that, and and I had enough in me to. I didn't respond perfectly, but I responded with like, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm here, and I'm not done, and we're gonna make this work." But I also got real needy, and I begged her to stay, and I said, "I'm thinking about joining this program," and so I said, "Give me let me know in a couple of days if you can stay and give me some time. Give me 2 weeks," I said. So, and that night, and I thought it was over. And she was not really responsive, right, positively at all. And she got actually angry. And but that night at 1:30 in the morning, I because the lady I was talking to was from Dubai, that was signing me up for the call. I forget her name. She was great, by the way. Do you know who I'm talking about? She
I
was
think
great.
she's actually newer. Yeah, I recall her name too. I just forgot. It's on the tip of my tongue.
That's okay. But she was fantastic. But she said no. She goes. I said, "Is it a waste of my time?" And at 1:30 in the morning, I called her, and she said no. She goes, "The success rate is really good as long as she's still in the house, like 80%. And if she's out of the house, it drops to, I don't know, 60 or 40, and she's still in the house. So she goes, your chances are really good." And she goes, "But don't do it for her. Do it for you." So that's kind of what sold me. And so I joined at 1:30 in the morning. And then I had my first call with Kristen 2 days later, which was phenomenal, by the way. And and it really got me started on just becoming a better me and becoming more confident. So that's what made me join, is I was desperate. But then I finally decided to just do it for me. And if it fails, then at least for my next relationship, I'll be a better me,
Mhm.
better man.
How long ago was that, Tim?
3 months. That was the middle of March. 2 months. Oh my God. That was only April. No, 3 months. April, May, June. Yeah.
Almost 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you thought it was almost over, and for you, like I don't usually ask this, but like if there was like that voice of hope, what would it have said at that moment? Like why that you still felt you like they had a chance to save it?
I was just, determined um, that I'm not going to give up. I was going to do whatever it took and to do my best. I don't know if that was hope. It was more determination.
Mm.
And yeah, the video series you did and posted online about the nice guys, the 10 behaviors of nice guys, and I fit like every one of them. I
Mm.
listened to that over and over and over before I joined the program. And that helped. That helped me. And then the first win I had with her was a few days into it, maybe 4 or 5 days, and I was at the office, and she called. She said she's at her grandmother's house, and I usually come right over. I just do whatever she wants, right? And I texted back and I said, I'm feeling like I just want to go home and you be quiet a little bit, so I'm not going to come tonight. And she told me later, that was a pivotal moment for her because she realized that I'm taking care of myself, and I stood up for myself.
Mm.
So, but there were a lot of losses a lot of setbacks where I screwed up and I tried to talk about things more than I should have, and I tried to bring up issues, but I've learned a lot, and I've done a lot of things right as well.
Yeah.
And now things are pretty good.
Yeah, I want to dive into what those things were, but first, yeah, let's touch on where things are at right now with her. Um,
Right now, it's great. Um, it's really good. Like the other day, 2 nights ago in the kitchen, I said things are really good, and she goes, "Yeah, I got my Timmy back, right?" And then I asked her right before this call, do you want to like get on and give your perspective at all? She goes, no. I said, well, what do you think? What changed in me? What changes do you see in me from this program? And she said, she thought a minute. She goes, you're more independent. And
hmm.
she said, and I don't feel like I'm married to a female anymore. I'm married to a male. And
She's
she said,
she's very
I don't want to
direct.
be married to a female. I'm not a lesbian, she said. Right.
Very
So
very
that
direct.
was her response. Yeah. But I know I still have a ways to go, and I'm still learning how to be more the authentic me because I'm not the manliest man, but I'm more manly than I ever put on because I realized that I didn't really have a fatherly strong influence at all when I was growing up.
How do you think that affected your relationship with her, not having that strong male influence?
I came across weak and insecure and needy, and I was. And I realized now I was.
Can you give me an example of something that maybe used to happen that you would do that would lead to that neediness, and then what you
I
would
would
do
just give her everything she wants.
now? Mm.
And I wouldn't tell her what I really felt about things. I would just kind of go along with whatever she wanted, you know? And that's not what she wants.
And you realize now maybe that made her feel what when you did that?
Like she had to be more of a man, she had to lead, and she told me that as well, just a few minutes ago. She goes, you're like taking control of things more now. And she goes, I really appreciate that because that's what I want.
So for a lot of guys that hear that, like for you, the insight was the first step, right? And, being aware, like, oh, all this stuff is like not helpful, and I know where it's coming from, but the actual change part, right? Like a lot of people don't understand like how that actually happens. How did you start
Yeah.
to actually make those changes where you
Well,
see
you're,
like those moments where you would normally cave in and want to make her happy? It's like, how are you able to step into having more independence?
it's doing the work every day, right? It's, your program is amazing. What you put together, like you've just taken all these sources and put them together in a real easy format for people to follow. And it just takes commitment every day to spend whatever time I do in the morning, is whatever time it takes and really do it right. And it's painful sometimes doing the exercises and writing out honestly and being vulnerable with myself because it's not easy to look at myself sometimes, but just commitment to doing your program, and your program has been, it's really saved it. I really think it's your program, and God. I mean, God's blessings as well.
Mhm.
But sometimes God uses people and programs to help, and I feel like He's really used your program for me, and a lot of other people I know now too. But so it's just I don't know if I'm answering your question, but just a daily decision to do it and work it and be honest and realize I'm not perfect, and and I make mistakes, but I'm going to be doing gradually more and more things right. And another thing I used, I don't know, a week ago was the you feel because, and I forget the situation, but it really just calmed the whole situation down, and she started to actually tear up at one point because I can't remember what it was about, but it's something I screwed up again, right? And and but just some of the tools that you have taught me really, and I'm starting to learn and implement the best I can. And Kristen's really helped as well, and Mark has been amazing. I mean, Mark, he's the the wisdom that that guy has is really incredible. He's really been a help. So you got really good people working for you.
Yeah,
You
well,
train them really well.
I'm very grateful. And so you mentioned the independence, and recognizing these needy, nice guy behaviors as they're kind of identified, right, and defined, that I had myself, and stepping more into independence. And as soon as you did that, she notices that, right? She notices that change. Besides the recognizing the pattern of neediness and independence, what's another thing you maybe learned with Mark or Kristen or the videos that really helped you kind of get her back?
One thing that Kristen really went over with me this last call is no matter because I tend to go back to that journal and things she wrote when situations happen and kind of link things to that maybe that she's feeling that way and maybe she's not being completely truthful, blah blah blah. So Kristen really, and I've used this as well, has taught me that I need to stay in my own frame and ask myself questions. Is that who I am? No, that's not who I am. Then stay in my own frame and instead of going into what I think hers might be.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it does make
So yeah, so that's really been helpful is just continually say affirmations, so to speak, to myself. I call them declarations, but declare who I am, and and as and I'll take a walk and just declare over and over who I am. And every morning I do my declarations, and one of them is I have a fantastic relationship with Tammy, right? And I was doing that before, even before things went sour, but then I really relied on that, and I think putting that out brings things and ideas and people like your program, you and Kristen and Mark, to me and helps me fulfill that declaration. So basically, it's and when I say my declarations, I say them like until I believe them. Like I really
so.
emotionally, yeah, thank you God, it's already done.
So
And I
can I
believe
touch on
that.
that? Can I touch on that? Because
Yeah,
people recently have been really like degrading affirmations. Like, oh, affirmations don't work. And okay, so here's the thing. It's about how you use them, right? Just like any
yeah,
tool. And so when people say like, oh, I'm just gonna say in the mirror, like, oh, I believe in myself, it's like, yeah. And the reason why is like one, when you use it, you have to believe it. You have to feel that it's actually
yeah,
happening,
sure.
right? And also the way you stated it, which is really powerful. These declarations are not like, I will have a successful relationship or a happy relationship. It's like I already do. And when you say things in
Yeah,
that positive, like all my goals on my board right now, they don't say like I will have this, it's I already do. And what happens is that when you tell your brain that you already have it, it creates cognitive dissonance. And our brain cannot sit with something that is just cognitively dissonant. So it has to create that thing to become true if you believe it to already be true. So what you'll do is that you will become the man to get that thing because you already believe it's true. And so that's the way you do affirmations. I think we should like completely eradicate the whole word affirmation and call it declarations because that's
yeah.
honestly way better.
It's really what it is. Yeah, absolutely. And when I first started doing it, it was actually 2015 when my late wife was sick and diagnosed with, you know, 4 to 6 months to live. She lived 6.5 years, thank God. But,
Wow.
and I would just, and my practice just really crashed. And the first thing I did for a whole year is I said, I'm going to declare that I am at a certain level of practice and a certain amount of people. And I, and it sometimes it would take me 30 minutes to say, I'm a magnet for blank people a day. Right. And, and I visualized that for 1 year from then. And exactly a year that week, we hit those numbers. Right. It was amazing. And I really learned, but I did it until I felt it, like you're saying, emotionally. And, until I really believed it. And I said, it's already happened. Thank you, God. It's already done. Right. And so I believed it. And then the rest of the day, I wouldn't believe it, but then I'd go back and believe it,
So
and
how
gradually it just happened. And
Yeah.
I'm doing it with my relationship too. Yeah.
Exactly. So like did you even go down to the visualizations of like visualizing when you were in the dark times, what it would be like to have her back? Did you go that far as well, or was it just the
I wrote it all out. Yeah. I wrote it all out. And I gave it to Mark and he said, "Oh my God." And I actually gave it to her. And I said, I wrote down what our ideal marriage looks like. And then we got to the module later on where you write your ideal marriage. I said, well, I already did that, right? But yeah, but I just wrote and wrote and wrote. It was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 pages long, what it would look like. And I gave it to Tammy, and she told me later. She goes, I read through that, 4 or 5 times. So has really absorbed it as well. I don't know if I should have given it to her, but I did. I'm probably too open. She tells me I'm too open sometimes, but hey, sometimes that's who I am. You
women
know?
like women like a little bit of mystery sometimes, but if you're an open book, you're an open book. I'm the same way. Um,
Yeah.
did she test you at all in this process of getting her back?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There was one time where she, yeah, major tests. Like she goes, if I was financially independent, I'd be gone, right?
Mm.
I'd have my own place. I'd live on my own. And she just lost it, right? And my first reaction was get real defensive and justify and all that. But then, which I kind of did. But then I remembered, and so I just accepted it and I tried to acknowledge it. And then later she said, I didn't really mean that. So it's that dual mindset again. And you just realize that they're just different. And sometimes they say things they really don't mean. They just say it to hurt you. So I guess they call that a test,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah. Hurt people, right? That's the phrase. And yeah, when
yeah,
she's in pain, that she's only going to see a reality in which that pain is there, right? And so it's like this is what a lot of guys, the biggest mistake they'll make, right, is when their wife says something, whether it's like, I don't want to, I want a divorce, or I'm done with you, just give up. It's like we take it as like truth, because in
yeah,
our world as men, like truth is true. When we say something, it has to remain true, right? We have honor, we have the code, we have dignity, we have integrity. Where a woman, she thinks that, as from her perspective, like they're like, oh, guys are so like inflexible, they're rigid, like they don't follow their emotions, like you know what I mean? And so knowing that is like one of the key differences between men and women. And it allows you, the beauty behind that, Tim, is like it allows you to create the reality that you want, right? In your frame. Like, oh yeah, I believe, okay, yeah, she's saying that right now, but I know she truly loves me. And you'll operate with her in a way that makes that so, because you believe it, right? And so,
yeah, yeah,
and when you fall into her frame, you're being more feminine, right? You're being
yeah,
the follower.
yeah,
So
yeah. The other day, I we're just kind of off, and I could tell it. She was shut down, and I was like feeling insecure, and and then we went down to the gym. We live in a condo, so we went down to work out downstairs, and we just weren't communicating. And I said, okay, what would Josh do here, right? What would Josh teach us, right? And then I said, I'm gonna just walk by her and just jump up and click my heels, right? Just stupid, right? So I did it, and I just smiled, and she just laughed, and she said, "You're so stupid at that." And you change her emotions, you change your mind, right? Isn't that? I don't know if that's the saying, but
change your
but
mood, change your
and
mood and
then later
mind. But
on,
yeah, close enough. Yeah.
yeah, mood and mind, change your mood, change. Yeah, but then later on in the bathroom, like a couple hours later, I just started singing a stupid song and did a stupid dance, and it just like the whole day changed. I said, wow, it changed because I didn't stay in my frame of being insecure because she was shut down. I just like changed it, and I realized I have the power to change it, and it helped me too. I felt better doing that silly stuff. So sometimes just being silly really makes a difference too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
would,
that's something I learned from you guys. Yeah,
yeah, I went to do a cold plunge yesterday. I'm going to share it in the group, me doing it. And I had a little speech while I was in the cold plunge. So you'll see in the Facebook group. I'm going to post it actually later today. But my partner, she was having a really tough day, right? Really tough day. And then she called me. She said, "Hey, can you park next to me?" And I couldn't really hear her, and so I didn't park next to her. And she had to walk to the cold plunge without me, and she was like all upset. She's like, "You didn't park next to me. I told you to." And I heard my voice say, "Josh," I'm like, "No, get the fence. I didn't hear you." Blah 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 blah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I paused, and I was like, "I'm sorry." And I gave her a hug. I was, let's go. You know, it's like that little moment of like immediately, I still want to get defensive. I want to be like, I didn't hear you. Like, it's not a big deal. It's a couple, it's like less than like half a mile. A big, you know, that would have led to a different result, right? That would have led to arguing,
Yeah,
fighting. The whole
yeah,
experience would have been ruined. You
yeah.
know, I would have been hating myself in the cold plunge, but I was like, I paused, right? The pause is important, not reacting, right?
Yeah,
And then be like, she's hurt right now. Yeah, I'm sorry. And then give her a hug, give her a kiss. Like, let's go in here, lead, right? Boom,
yeah, yeah,
completely dismantled, right? And so,
yeah.
yeah, it's so vital to recognize those things like that pause and not being reactive, right?
And
And
what
then
we're really doing, and what you taught us too, is just give love. And you can give love in different ways. You can give love by saying you're sorry. You can give love by doing something silly. By like later that at one point I just licked her on the cheek because I just wanted to, right? And then she laughed, and it changed everything, you know. And yeah, but you give love, you know, and you reached in and you hugged her and said, "I'm sorry." You gave her love, you know, and yeah, that's what they want, you
yeah.
know. I did a cold plunge this morning, by the way, too.
Oh, did you
I,
really?
I've been doing it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
It
yeah,
was morning was a little warmer. It's like 52 degrees, but it's still cold.
yeah.
You know, it's
Oh,
still
for sure.
cold.
Especially in Florida, like the difference between temperature is probably vast. You know, we have 5 minutes left. I have another call, but I just want to always like that last question I like to ask him is just if you can go back into the past and talk to yourself, you know, 6 months ago before joining this program and give yourself a piece of advice, what would you tell yourself?
I would have, if I'd have known about it, I'd have joined it earlier. Um, and I wouldn't have hesitated about the money because the money is a factor. But I would have joined it earlier, and I would have invested in myself. And I'm telling you, I've never seen like a program laid out like this. And you're brilliant. You know, you've laid it out step by step exactly. You know what we need to do. Now, I'm on module 6 now, but every day I look forward to, okay, today was 4 horsemen. You know, I look forward to, okay, what am I going to learn now, and how can I apply it? So I would have
Just
definitely done it earlier. You know,
just wait for 4.0 version. It should have been out by now, but there's some logistical things going on with that. But that one's like next level too. So yeah, added more content and stuff. So I'm super excited about that. But other than that, man, I really appreciate you. Yeah, Kristen's great. I love that she's on the team. Um, but yeah, Tim, is there any last things you want to say to me before we wrap up?
no, and Mark has been incredible. I mean, Mark is I talk to every day about stuff, and he's just given me tremendous insights. You know, so I just really I think you have a great team, and there's people that join in, like when I post in the group. There's the people that I know work for you that join in, and they're just always so helpful and supportive and positive, and you know, because they know we're messing up all the time, you know, but we're doing our best, you know.
That's true. That's true.
So thank you
Yeah.
for Josh, thank you for putting this program together. I mean, you really deserve everything you're getting because you're helping so many people. And I honor that. Thank you.
Well, I received that big time. I really do, Tim. And I give you a hug if I could. But I also want to say thank you for trusting me and putting in the work.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's a little different now because I was married, and I know you got to go, but my
That's
wife before my late wife was 13 years older than I am.
oh,
Tammy's 19 years younger.
oh wow.
And so that's a whole, and I thought that'd be great, you know, but it's really a whole different level of insecurity now about my age if I let myself go there. Like, is she going to be looking at my age, you know? So it's just this program is good for me because I stay in my frame.
And recognize your own value.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's good stuff, man.
My brother.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.